brought to you by Best Movie Ratings. Best Movie Ratings is a one-stop, easy and elegant movie ratings experience. Stop wasting your time on bad movies and download the world's best movie ratings app from the iTunes App Store now.
Hi everyone, this is Ahmed Karimli and welcome to Be Efficient TV. The mission of this web TV show is to boost the efficiency of your business and life through tips and tricks from leading experts. And today I have with me Kurek Ashley. He is a former Hollywood actor and he is an expert in peak performance, personal business development, and he is also a success coach and the author of the international best-selling book, How Would Love Respond? Welcome to the show, Kurek.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's a real honor.
It's my pleasure. So why did you quit your acting career in Hollywood?
Well, it was quite interesting because in 1989, I was doing a movie with Chuck Norris called Delta Force 2 and in the Philippines. And during the course of filming, I was involved in a helicopter crash where 5 of my friends died. I still worked in the business for a while afterwards, but it was my exodus because I realized that it really wasn't what I wanted anymore. And I thought that if I got famous, then people would want to hear me speak about teaching you how to follow your goals and get your dreams and the rest of those things. But since I played mostly tough guys and bad guys in the movies, nobody really wanted to hear my story. So once I let go of the movie industry, my personal development career just exploded and went through the roof.
So if that accident would not happen, you will continue? You think that you would continue your acting career?
No, I was already starting to realize this wasn't what I really wanted anymore. And I had been there, did that, worked on over 500 films behind the camera. So I really knew the industry very well. It was a great business. It's just not one I wanted to stay in for the rest of my life.
Is such accidents always happen, or it was like the first of its kind in that tragic, accident and such 5 people died?
Well, as you know, it happens every day in all kinds of businesses. It's just that Hollywood, we're more publicized. But it was the first time I've ever been on a set where people died, and the only time actually I was on a set where people died. It was just a bad day at work, so to speak. But it was something that was so personal for me that it sent me into a tailspin of depression and suicidal attempts and drug use and all this stuff for the next couple of years until I found myself again and worked my way back to who I am today.
What's your background before the acting? How did you become an actor, and how did you shift later, out of this depression mood into a successful speaker and motivator?
Well, the funny thing is, I started when I was like 12 years old. I started on stage in Chicago, lied about my age and auditioned and got on stage. And, I wanted a different life than just growing up in Chicago and being another hard worker. I wanted to have some fun. So at 18, I moved to LA and didn't get my first job for 3 years, but then little by little started steadily working. John Travolta and I became great friends, and he really talked me into working behind the camera because he said it's such a technical industry that once you can handle the technical side, then you're free to just act. And James Woods had said the same thing to me. So that's when I got behind the camera and started working as a key and dolly grip. I was the assistant to a director for 13 years. So I really learned the industry well. It's a business that most people don't have a lot of control over their own career because you have your agent, your manager, casting people, directors, editors, studios. All these people determine if you're going to work or not. And I just didn't like that feeling. So after a while, I started doing more coaching and speaking. But I didn't really know how to get paid for it in those days because it was very infantile in the beginning of it. But once I let go of the business, my career went through the roof just because I was focused on one thing that I was very passionate about.
How did you overcome your depression, and how we can overcome our depression and personal after certain big personal loss?
Well, there's 2 very powerful strategies there. One of them is called transformational language. If we're going to say this is devastating me, well, then you're going to feel the weight of that word, devastating me. But if you say it in a lighter way, where you say, this is upsetting me, well, you see, that's not as not as heavy of a terminology, and so the way we describe it becomes our experience, right? So if you describe it, like for instance, when my father died, right after they closed the casket, I said to my mom, "Hey mom, let's go and celebrate and have some fun together." And she said, "Hey, your dad just died." And I said, "Mom, Dad's going to be dead forever. We're still alive, so why don't we, enjoy today, and then I can mourn my father later, But see, is dealing with it in a light way, and it doesn't burden you and drag you down. And the other way is really about looking at the other side of the coin, which is called reframing, is ask the magic question, what's great about this? And you can ask that in any situation in your life, and the helicopter crash is a perfect example for me, because once I asked what was great about the helicopter crash, and it's a strange question, except for that when you really expect an answer, it's transformational. And the answers I got were, at least I had 5 friends to lose. A lot of people have nobody. And at least my best friend, who was 29 at the time, died in my arms and not in a stranger's arms. And I did save 2 people's lives that day. But see, you forget about the good stuff when you're caught up in your drama. So by asking what's great about this, it doesn't change the situation, but it changes the way you perceive the situation, which changes the way that you feel the situation.
So how can we manage the way we think and feel?
Well, the quality of our life is always determined by the quality of our communication. First with how we communicate with ourselves, and then how we communicate with others. But you won't communicate differently with others until you learn how to communicate differently with yourself. Excuse me. The other thing is, the quality of our communication is determined by the quality of questions that we ask. So when you ask better quality of questions, you get better quality of answers, and those other answers make you feel good. So as an example, in any situation, you can always ask yourself, was I empowering about this or disempowering? And if you go, well, disempowering, and you say, okay, well, how can I look at this in a more empowering way? And the answers will start to come to you, and they will make you feel better. You do that consistently, because here's the key distinction between average people and everybody else, is that successful people, we've learned how to manage and organize how we think and feel differently than the masses do. That's just because we're asking ourselves different questions. When most people are looking at the problems of life, successful people are looking for the opportunities. Same situation, we're just asking a different question, like what's great in here, or where's the opportunity here, or how's this going to enhance my life? You do that, and it doesn't mean you're not going to have problems. It just means that you can manage them better.
So we have to train ourselves to keep asking questions and discover new decisions. So how can we take action or take more new decisions to transform our life?
Well, the funny part about this is we're doing it all the time anyways. It's just that most people are asking disempowering questions. Why did this happen to me? And, oh my God, how am I going to save myself? And, all these things. See, as an example, when I'm having financial worries, now I guess it's a whole different level than where I used to be when I was homeless. Then I didn't have any financial worries because you have no money to worry about.
When you've been homeless?
Oh, I've been homeless in Chicago, I've been homeless in LA, and I've been homeless in Australia. I was actually homeless in two countries at the same time, because I was homeless here in Australia, where I couldn't even make it back to the States to be homeless.
In which stage of your life? What time, which year, after which period of time?
I was 15 first. I ran away and I was homeless. Then numerous times in LA, like in my 20s, I lived in my car for over a year in 1983. But here I was in Australia, I was 37 and I was homeless. The company that brought me here never paid me and left me stranded.
So before the acting career and after the acting career happened to you?
And in the middle of the acting career, so yeah.
All right.
But the thing is that I was still grateful. See, because at least I had a car to live in. Or I was here in Australia where at least it's warm, it's better than being homeless in Chicago. And so again, is by feeling good, we can come up with the answers to get out of our situation. But if you're going to let the world beat you up, well, then you're never going to come up with a strategy to get yourself out of your problem.
How did you end up in Australia? Why you moved from the US to Australia?
Well, I was working with Anthony Robbins for 5 years. I was on the road with Tony and speaking at seminars and teaching and the rest of those things. And somebody saw us in San Diego, and they were from Australia, and asked me to come and save their company. So I came out and turned their sales around and everything. The company didn't pay me and left me stranded. I wound up doing some free seminars to promote a paid one just so I could make some money to get out of here. And at one of those free seminars, I asked, who here remembers the person who stands on the third box at the Olympics? Anybody ever rush out to buy their book thinking, oh, gee, how'd you get third? Well, a girl stands up and she said, hey, thank you very much. I was on the third box at the Olympics. Anyways, that was Natalie Cook.
This is the same lady that you helped getting the gold medal in Sydney 2000.
That's her, Natalie Cook and Kara Pothurst. And 3 or 4 weeks ago, the girls were just inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame 14 years later and went down for the ceremony. So it's still going, yeah.
So what did you teach them through this coaching? Like it was focused on mindset, or what did you do with them?
Well, mindset, but also muscle memory, so that the body would reproduce the same action over and over again automatically. So like Carrie has the fastest serve in Olympic history, but we worked on it so that her body would automatically go into it, so she didn't have to think about it. It would deliver the same action over and over again, and she was dropping aces anywhere she wanted to. It was amazing, and she broke the speed record 5 times in Sydney and served at 85 kilometers an hour.
Wow. So back to the decisions and how we can transform our life. How can we commit to our decisions? Because most people start certain path and then they quit at certain point.
Well, the easiest way is, number one, is put it up on your wall somewhere. You're going to see it every day, like your mirror, where you brush your teeth. Hopefully you see that every day, you know. Also is called public declaration. Tell as many people as you can about your decision, because they will hold it to you, you know. They will hold you on 2 ways now. One of them is some people are going to encourage you, and some people are going to, you know, knock you and say, oh, yeah, you'll never do this. Well, use both for your favor. Use the people who encourage you to drive you forward, and those people who tell you you can't make it, use it as that, you know, that cause that you have that you're going to show them. Okay, I'll show you, and you're going to do it. That's called commitment. If you're consistent with that commitment every day, after 28 consecutive days, it becomes a habit. And that's not so hard anymore.
How can we find the right time and resources to transform our life? Like if we are homeless, if we are having a job and we want to do the transition to become an entrepreneur, how can we structure that and invest our time and the right resources wisely?
Well,
from where to start, in other words?
Sure. In the country where you live, do they have a public library system?
Definitely.
Yep. See, so every country I've ever been to has a public library system. And when I was homeless, well, what a great place to hang out. First, they have a bathroom, they have a drinking fountain, so you get plenty of water. And there's a library full of books that can change your life, and they're all for free. But here's the funny part. You know, the library has all those books, but rarely do you see it jammed with people trying to read those books. Instead of people would rather cry about their situation instead of do something about it. For me, that library was gold. Because I couldn't afford books in those days, but you know what? I could take a book back to my car and sit in my car that I was homeless in and read a book instead of, I don't know, do drugs or whatever, you know, get in trouble. And the book started changing my life. Plus, since it was a rental book, a library book, you can't write in it. It inspired me to make the money to go buy the book so I could write in it, highlight in it. And still to this day, those books are in my library. And they're, I don't even lend them out because it's like me. It's like my whole history sitting in there.
So you started in the library when you was homeless.
Yeah.
And then how did you get into acting? Like did you study or?
I was acting, you know, when I was 12 years old, when I was back home in Chicago. But, you know, I was doing all kinds of odd jobs in LA, working in a health club. I used to repossess cars. I did construction, anything to pay the bills. But those times when money ran out, well, yeah, I'd be back in the library because I have no money to buy a book. I mean, food was hard to come by. But to feed my mind, I knew that, wow, that's going to get me out of my situation. And I'll tell you a funny story, Ahmed, is that I was down to my last, I wasn't homeless at this time, but I was close. And I was down to my last $800. And Tony Robbins was coming to LA. And I had 3 choices. Use that $800 to pay my rent, fix my car, which needed fixing, or go to the seminar. And I thought, well, if I pay the rent, 30 days later, I'm going to be in the same boat. Probably my car 2 weeks later, because it was a piece of junk. And the Tony Robbins seminar could change my life because it was an investment in me. And if you look at the word investment, investment, I invest in me. It's right there in the word. The best investment we can ever make is our own personal development, because it means we're developing ourselves into being a more evolved version. Well, I went to that seminar, and basically Tony asked me to work for him for the next 5 years, and the rest was history.
How that happened? You went to him like through the seminar and you told him the story and he was touched by it. How that happened?
No, it was just that I kept stopping him like every couple words. You know, I go, Tony, what was it you said there? And he goes, dude, I got like a 4-day seminar, man. You're interrupting me every 5 minutes. He said, hey, every word's worth 75 cents to me. I'm getting my money's worth. And because I was so high energy and so involved, you know, it stood out to him. But see, that's the key is that, you know, Wattles, who wrote the book, The Science of Getting Rich, said the getting rich is not the result of doing certain things. It's doing things in the certain way. That's passion and enthusiasm. Now, the word enthusiasm, the root word is a Greek word, entheos. It means the God within. So as you see, you got more power on your side when you're, you know, passionate and enthusiastic. And guess what? Everybody loves somebody who's passionate and enthusiastic. It stuck out. Tony asked me to train him in the gym, then be on the road with him, then be at the seminars, and the rest was history. 5 years with him.
So 5 years, definitely you learned all the secrets of the public speaking and how he does that. And till now, he's the most successful maybe public speaker who, in terms of many aspects, money, motivation.
Sure.
So what was the secret in Tony Robbins? Why you think he's successful and still he's number one maybe in what he's doing?
Tony is awesome at marketing himself. You know, it's just like Hollywood. It's just like hamburgers. You know, there's a lot of restaurants that make a better hamburger than McDonald's, obviously, but they know how to market one better than anybody else. And, you know, Jessica Simpson, well, she can't really sing or act, but man, she knows how to market herself better than Paris Hilton. She actually doesn't do anything, but she knows how to market herself. And so, you know, Tony understood that if he wants to get his message out there, he has to understand marketing. And that's what I really learned being with Tony is how to market myself and promote myself in a way that basically when I left working with Tony, my career just took off. And now Tony's considered me in some ways his competition, which I take as a compliment. I mean, I'm not even close to doing what he does, but you know, he knows that I'm making a mark, and I'm proud of that. And you know, last time I saw him, he was very honorable. He was very warm, and you know, said to me, "Hey, Kurek, there's not a place I go in the world these days your name doesn't come up." And he goes, "Oh my God, your book's awesome, and I love it, and you know, God bless you." And we hugged each other, and you know, great way to see each other for, well, I don't know the last time, but it was the last time so far.
How many people working in his empire and how many people working in your speaking business, if I want to just compare the both two?
Well, I have none in mine. I outsource everything. I used to have 9 staff. It just, I just don't want a business like that anymore. It's nighttime here, but if I turn my camera around, you'll see that I'm talking to you from, I have 14 gorgeous acres on the Sunshine Coast of Australia. So I live on a farm, and it's got killer views, and you know, I have a different life.
So is that because you don't want, sometimes it's enough, you feel that you have the fulfillment that you want and you don't want to scale it into that crazy level of speaking almost every week in different city? Is it because this is the lifestyle that you chose? Because I just want the audience to understand how people choose their, you know, based on their fulfillment, which path they should take.
Well, here's the thing. You know, if success in your life didn't mean burning yourself out, you know, well, then when's it going to happen? Like, you know, if you keep running on the treadmill, you just, you know, you might be the king of the rat race, but you're still a rat. Me, I wanted to check out. I wanted to have, you know, how am I supposed to teach other people how you can have a holistic, fulfilled life if I don't live one teaching them that? And so I have a 2.5-year-old son. I'm a late bloomer. It took me 50 years to have kids. And, you know, my son, I wanted to have an experience of his dad, but also have an unbelievable place to grow up, you know. So I grew up in Chicago and LA where people live like cockroaches on top of each other. I've been there, did that, not my life. I wanted lifestyle. So I still work in 17 countries, but I work when I want to work. I work where I want to work. I choose more A-list clients than the C and D clients, the smaller stuff. But also that gives me the availability to help people in charity, schools where I don't charge things to go speak at schools, things like that. Why? Because I have the lifestyle that I can do that with, but also as I have the life.
So to explain to audience that Tony Robbins doing that because he's more fulfilled speaking all the time, because he have everything, he have the money, he have the lifestyle, but he just thrilled to be on stage all the time. You being close to him, that's why he's doing that?
No, well, first I can't answer for Tony. You'd have to ask Tony. Tony, though, you got to remember, Tony's not really I'm not knocking him. Tony's more of a show these days. It's like going to see a rock star kind of thing, and he likes that. I don't want that life. People come up to me and approach me in airports and planes and all that stuff, but they're very calm because I don't live that rock star lifestyle. And I saw that with Tony, where people just go crazy trying to get to him. That's fine for Tony. God bless him. He enjoys it. Because of my Hollywood background, I don't really like that. I like having a more a normal life, but I still have a public profile that keeps my business going because that's me marketing myself. But in the same token is that I have a lifestyle where I don't have to deal with, security and the rest of those things.
How to transform the positive actions into habits?
Well, that's easy. Number one is do them consistently. And every time you do them, celebrate, like literally, outwardly celebrate. Tell your brain that I get rewarded for every time I do this. It's like Pavlov's dogs, feed them, ring the bell, feed them, ring the bell. Pretty soon you ring the bell and they're salivating, they're hungry. Same thing is, get rewarded, take the action, get rewarded, take the action, or reverse, take the action, get rewarded. And what happens is that all of a sudden it becomes your habit, but your brain makes a neural connection between taking that action and feeling great. And you got to remember is the brain is wired to get us to move towards anything that makes us feel great, pleasure, or perceived pleasure.
What's your formula for consistent success and positive results?
Well, first, it's start hanging out with positive, happy people because you become one. And if you can't find them in real life, then start off with biographies and autobiographies. Read about those people because then you see how they think. You start to pick up the consistencies in them. I still to this day study everybody. I mean, everybody, sir, because everybody's got something they're successful in, And you see these consistencies and you read it in books and you read in autobiographies. Then you'll notice that you start attracting more of those people to you. And then they hold you to that higher standard. That's really called your network. So I always say that if you're not networking in life, you're not working.
Can you define for us personal financial freedom?
Well, let's just talk about freedom. Because if we can do it without the finances, cool. Freedom, though, is having less rules. First, as people have so many rules, they make it so hard to succeed and make it so easy to fail. If any one thing goes wrong, the sky's falling, they're all upset. But then they go, well, in order to be successful, this has to happen, that has to happen, they have all these, intricate rules. Well, all conflicts in life are rules conflicts. So lower your rules, make it easy to succeed. Say just by waking up, I'm a success. Well, think about that, though. If that was your rule and every day you woke up feeling successful, don't you think you'd act successful the rest of the day because that's how you felt? See, so it's really about being that person first, because once we are that person, then we'll act like that person and that will produce the actual results. But people are saying, when I get the results, then I'll be the person, but that will never happen. You have to be the person first.
So why we want to add always more zeros in terms of money to our life?
Well, we all don't. I don't. And the thing is, because I don't chase money, that's why it shows up. See, it's a ghost. It's not what people think it is. Money is an exchange of service, which is adding value. And the zeros represent the law of circulation. So that's really what we want. Is we want more circulation happening, and that's more value we add, the more zeros we get. So that means leveraging how much value you add to more people in greater quantity. And that's it. Because if you think about, well, if you go to a fancy restaurant, food's great, service is terrible, well, you never go again. But if they go to a good restaurant, food's good, service is awesome, well, it's like our favorite restaurant. So as you see, it's a feeling that we're going for. And so, if we add that value, and so instead of asking, how can I make more money? Let's ask, how can I add more value to more people? And that will bring more money to your life. But also the payback is instantaneous, because then you add that value to other people, you instantly feel it.
What's the glass or file walking is adding to our life from your experience with your clients?
Oh, the fire walk and the glass walk are really metaphors, for what you think is impossible isn't. And if I can do this that I thought was impossible, well, what else have I been telling myself is impossible that's been holding me back from everything I want? And so it's really profound, because people, once they cross the coals or the glass, they really do feel unstoppable. And it's a physical reference that they can always rely back on to go, oh yeah, wait a minute, I'm a fire walker. I can do this. And they'll take that next step again.
And you use this technique with, in Sydney when you were coaching the beach team, right? What did added to them?
Well, yes, they fire walked with me, they glass walked with me, but you got to remember, is both of these girls playing beach volleyball for as long as they had already cut their foot numerous times on glass on the beach. So when I broke the glass out, they said, we're not doing it. And I said, well, look, we got 2 years before the Olympics. I got plenty of time to wait. Now, both girls actually have bags of glass that I made for them, that when they do speaking engagements, they do the glass walk, because they both realize that maybe this is the fear that will cost us our gold medal in Sydney, and Kurek would never do anything to hurt us. So we're going to have that faith, and they made it across. If you go to my website, you'll see that there's a news segment in which Carrie and I did glass walk on the Sunrise Show in Sydney. Now, that was a girl who was never going to do it. Now she has her own bag of glass.
So, now we understood that we have to add value to create money and to create also fulfillment in our life. How can we define our voice and message and share it with the world?
Well, I think that really comes from, we think to create, yet we feel to decide. So feel your answer. Ask yourself, what does it feel like to me? What do you really want to do? If you had no limitations, you had all the support of your family and friends, all the education, all the finances, whatever you needed, what do you really want to experience in life? And what is it you want to share with people? And, the funny part is a lot of people have asked me to talk on wealth creation and all this stuff. And I go, that's not what I do. I talk about personal and professional development, about working on yourself, because the rest of it shows up. Now, I do teach businesses how to go through the roof. One of my clients here on the Sunshine Coast, they have a grocery store. They were barely making it for 23 years, doing like 2% profit per month. Now they're doing 14% profit and doing $1.6 million a month out of a grocery store. So yes, I'm teaching them business, but long before we get into the business, I teach them the personal development, because then they'll run their business different. So it always comes back to, this is the center of the universe, our universe, us. And this is what we have to work on first. The rest of it all starts showing up. And feel yourself. What do like for instance, this TV show, how'd you get it going? Well, something in you felt going, hey, I want to voice something. And you get out there and you try. Now it starts to formulate more specifically, the more you do it, into really what it will turn into. But you got to get out there.
Right. And stay consistent. What are the main myths about success?
Well, what's the main one?
Myths about success.
That money's going to answer all your problems. Actually, it's going to amplify your problems. Not in a bad way. It's just that, handling wealth is different than handling poverty. Look at lottery winners. Now, I don't know if you guys have lottery where you guys are, but for big lottery winners around the world, 99% of them, it ruins their life when they win. Not the money, it was their relationship or lack of relationship with wealth. So we do have to work on ourselves again at this level, not only to get successful, but to stay successful. Because there's pressures that are different and sometimes greater than when you are living middle class. I'm not trying to scare people off. It's what we have to work on though. Because, like for instance, the more money you make, you want a better life. Okay, well, having a $100,000 car, the payments are way more expensive than when you buy a $2,000 car or a $10,000 car. And so if you have financial worries, those big payments, well, they can get scary. So yeah, you have to produce wealth at a higher level, but money doesn't answer all your problems. But I will tell you that poverty is a guaranteed way to buy you pain. So no, money doesn't buy happiness, but poverty buys pain. You can help people when you have wealth. You can help yourself. It's actually easier to have fun. Not that you can't have fun poor, but how long can you have it before you're starving? But I mean, like for instance, today, last week, we were supposed to interview. My son was sick, and then I got sick. It was pretty cool to be able to take a whole week off and just take care of ourselves. But see, when I worked a job when I was financially strapped, I couldn't do that. You had to go to work sick.
Right. What's the Life Success Club?
Well, thanks for asking. The Life Success Club is it's coming back online. We're just finishing off the new website. It's a monthly site that's been going since 2003. It used to be on CD. We've had thousands and thousands of members, and what it is every month you get another 2 tracks from me, and they're very simple. See, a lot of membership sites, they overwhelm me with a lot of stuff. This one's very simple, and I want to keep it that way so that it's not a big burden, so that you will do it every month. And what it is that one track is the first track is about 35 minutes long, and it's just about new thoughts and mindsets and ideas. And you listen to that one track once a week for every week of the month. Why? Consistent thoughts. You remember I told you, as you get like those people, you think like them, you start to act like them. There it is. It creates the habit. Then the second track is only 10 minutes long. It's called the action track. You listen to that every day of the month. You take the little action on there. Well, 30 days, boom, you created a success muscle called the habit. And so all of a sudden, success, well, it's easy because it's your habit to be that way and to do those things. And then we have live Life Success Club events where we do certain things as a club, and we have, telecalls and teleseminars and all kinds of fun stuff. So members really do network with each other, and they network with each other on the site as well, because again, if you're not networking, you're not working. So it's really, I'm in it. I'm a member. I love it. I listen to my own tracks. I go, this guy's awesome.
So how long it takes and how much it costs?
Oh, it's I think it's $37 or $39 a month. It's coming out. I have to see when it's like $37 or $39 a month, or I think you can pay for the whole year for like $297. So it's really inexpensive. The reason I even put a charge on it is because if you give things for free, people don't value it. Look at the library. It's free. It's empty. So people have to invest the value. And so that's why we put a price on it. And nobody balks at it. It's like the cost of a book every month. It will be available on lifesuccessclub.com or kurekashley.com. People can go to it. It's just coming on board live again, because we've rebuilt the website probably in the next 3 or 4 weeks.
For the speakers out there, what are the strategies that you implement to get paid speaking engagement?
Well, first you have to learn how to package yourself. You got to take yourself out of yourself and hold it out in front of you like a package, like a box of detergent, and think about what you're selling, right? That's not selling you, it's selling this package, because then I can market this package. But if you're talking about yourself, it's really hard to say things about yourself if you're humble at all. That doesn't sound like you're tooting your own horn. But see, when I'm talking about Kurek, the product, I can market that product, because that's what I am. I'm a product. Now, when the product and the human being are working, well, then yes, I can deliver my message. But in order to get that spot to deliver my message, I first have to market myself, and that's called packaging, so that we can market that package.
So in terms of marketing, like what you do, you pitch certain special organizations specialized in speaking, you do your own events, and how you market it. Just share with us some of your techniques and strategies.
Well, one of them is I say yes to pretty much every interview that I get asked to do, because see, right, this here gives me a profile. Because people go, well, he must be somebody. He's being interviewed, right? So media is a great way to build your profile and to market your package. I do lots of media, always have radio, and by the way, they're always looking for segments. You can call producers and say, hey, I got a segment on this. There's more to it than that, but you know, if they learned how to do that, it's a longer conversation than we have tonight. But basically, it's pretty easy. And you know, you get on the show. Well, if you look at my website, there's lots of media pieces on there. You know, well, instantly that creates a profile that people go, hey, we want that guy because he must be famous. He's on the news, or he's on a TV show.
But do you have a strategy for that, like a team member sending press releases all the time on monthly basis? How you structure that?
Well, I'm going to tell you about a program that, see, obviously it's not mine, but see, I have integrity, so it doesn't matter. There's a guy named Steve and Bill Harrison. They're in Philadelphia. They have a program called the Publicity Summit. It's held in New York twice a year. Great guys. I used to coach at the program after being a participant. I spent 5 years with the guys. They're awesome. And what they do is they teach you how to pitch, but then they put you in front of over 100 top TV, radio producers for the States. And a lot of people get booked from there, but you learn how to do it, which is the biggest thing. And you get all their contact details so you can follow up on these media people. And once you learn it there, you can take the same strategy to really to any country. It's not that hard, but really start even small. You know, call local radio stations, call local newspapers, and pitch them with a news idea. But before you do is ask them, what kind of news stories are you looking for? They'll tell you. Then go back, write your pitch to kind of meet what they're looking for, and pitch it to them again. You know, and then all of a sudden, as soon as you're on the air and under your picture, there's a name, Kurek, international best-selling author. Well, you instantly got some profile. Then you can keep that clip and put that on your website or send that out on Facebook or whatever. And you know, you're really amplifying your marketing at that point and your profile.
So number one is use the power of media, and then you package yourself with certain details on your websites, and that's how companies contact you to get speaking engagements.
Let me ask. How did you find me?
How did I find you? I have a research team that research people who's qualified for the interviews, and then they filter those people, send it to me, and then I approve those people after I review their websites. And definitely I went to your websites. I've seen your media, interviews and the other things that you are adding value to. That's why you are a qualified interviewee for the show. And I'm really grateful that you are on the show.
Oh, me too. And, but I want to share with you, though, that here we are from different countries, never met before. And right now we're doing international broadcasting, instantly profile building for both of us, because of doing this interview and things like that. And it all kind of filters out from having a website, having the media clips on there, also saying yes to interviews like this, because I'm going to reach a whole nother caliber of people that I've never met before through you, and vice versa.
Right. How about when you do your own events, like how you market it? You do ads on social media, or like how do you market, how you prepare marketing for that other than the media?
Well, a lot of great ways are to link up with other people who have database lists, who are not in your competition but have the same kind of demographics as you. Also is, again, doing media, because people get interested in what, instead of selling yourself in the media, because that's an advertisement, is do editorial, because then people go looking for you, right? So I do a lot of media around those things. Sometimes we do demonstration firewalks, I've even done them on radio shows, which is funny because you can't see it, but when you hear the host going crazy, people still get it. We've done glass walking on radio shows, TV shows. We use some social media. I built a large database over the years. And then I do a lot of speaking engagements leading up to it. So I'll do networking breakfasts, corporate things, whatever it is. And it's just more and more people that you can expose to what you're doing. And then it starts building momentum.
What are the techniques that you use to write your book? How do you write efficiently?
Well, I hired a wordsmith, somebody who taught me how to structure. Because basically I tried to write 2 other books before How Would Love Respond, and I was all over the place and quit. I put a lot of work in on both of those, but it was just all over the place. So I hired a wordsmith to teach me how to structure, because then I could say what I wanted to say.
It's a guy named Wordsmith, Smith, or it's a software, or it's...
Oh, no. Wordsmith is a name for a professional that basically teaches you, well, they know how to write, but they also teach people how to write.
All right, got it.
Like you can look up wordsmith, kind of like a blacksmith, did horseshoes. A wordsmith does the same kind of thing, I guess. You can look them up on the internet, and that's what I did. I found a woman in Brisbane, and she was very, very helpful. But being a success coach, I learned what she was teaching me very rapidly and started adapting it. So in the beginning, it was taking me a long time to write chapters. Then pretty soon I was writing 2 chapters a week. And she was like, wow, how fast do you pick it up? And I go, well, I'm a success coach. I strategize you. I want to see what's the key points to what you're teaching me and then master those.
Any coming book?
Yes, I'm working on a novel now that we want to turn into a movie. So I'm already talking to Hollywood people right now about turning it into a film. So I'm just debating, am I going to go straight to script or am I going to write the book first? I'm debating that.
So now you're connecting the dots back to your old career because you know the industry and you're going to leverage on that. That's great.
Well, there's a movie coming out in November called Reach Me. Look it up on YouTube or on the internet, Yahoo rather, and YouTube. It's called Reach Me. It's got Sylvester Stallone, Tom Sizemore, Tom Berenger, Kira Sedgwick, Kelsey Grammer, Terry Crews from The Expendables, Danny Aiello's got an all-star cast. And the movie is, I was the inspiration for the story because the director is my mentor, raised me since I was 18 years old. He's the guy who got me to read Think and Grow Rich. So the movie was loosely based on my life. It's not about me. It's just I was kind of the framework for it. Now it's become something way bigger than that. But it's about a personal development guy who wrote this book that's changing people's lives, and then he's got to face his own inner demons. And so, I have a lot of connections still in Hollywood. It's a great-looking movie. I can't wait to see it, called Reach Me. But, it's kind of pulling me back in. I have private clients who are movie directors now. One's a cinematographer. One's film just came out with Nicolas Cage and John Cusack. So, I'm still involved in Hollywood.
Why Nicolas Cage keep selecting bad movies in the past 10 years? I mean, by the way, I'm a movies critic. I have created an app called Best Movie Ratings where I segregate the ratings from IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, and Metacritics plus my ratings. So I always surprised how some actors reach to the top of their career and they have all these teams to select with them and they have the experience. But then there is a huge dip in their choices. Why? They get crazy? What's the problem?
You'd have to ask Nicholas. The thing is, the movie he did with my client, Scott Walker, it's called The Frozen Ground. It's a great movie.
I've seen it.
He actually thanked the director and says, hey, he said, hey, thanks for reminding me that I really am an actor and not this action guy I got caught up in. I think people kind of get caught up in the success and the fame, and then, you got a lot of yes men around you who are telling you this is a great one, and, they steer you down a path.
But sometimes I think about it that the movie has so many different elements and people involved in. So sometimes it's very difficult to know unless you have to select, let's say, who's the director, what is his...
Exactly.
But still, some people risk with the new directors and who's the editor, who's the script writer. So based on that, they choose or how, like example. If I talk about Denzel Washington, he always, he consistent in his level and choices. While when you look at, let's say, Nicolas Cage as an example, he's going down. So why is that?
Well,
so how they know that this is gonna be a good movie before acting in it?
Well, you don't, because There's been movies, and I know a few of them, that the producer takes over the film from the director and recuts it and puts his own scenes in there and ruins the movie. And so, here it was, and it just happened again where, who was the actor? It was Nicolas Cage, actually. He was wearing a shirt saying, the producer hijacked the show, and I'm not doing any media for it. And it's happened a couple times with him. But I've known it to happen with other people. That's what I mean. It's Hollywood. A lot of times it's out of your control. That it started off as a great movie and a script, and the director sounded like a great guy, but it went a different direction. I mean, there's so many reasons. But I look at Nicolas Cage and I go, well, at least the guy's still working and he's still making money.
Yeah.
When a lot of people aren't. So, we might knock the movie he's doing, but at least he's still doing them.
Who's the most famous actors in Hollywood that you still like? They're still close to you as friends.
Oh, well, I don't have a lot of, John Travolta and I once in a while communicate. I do hear from Stallone every once in a while. He sent in my living room, I have a Rocky poster that he sent me when my book went bestseller. I waited 25 years and knowing the guy to finally get a poster out of him. But it was a big honor, because I love the movie Rocky and I'm a huge fan. James Woods, I still hear from once in a while. But I'm in Australia. I'm so far away from the whole industry that for a lot of people, I died and vanished, And they know I live here, but it's far away for a lot of people.
Did you publish or self-publish your book, and why?
No, the book was published by a company called Ben Bella out of Dallas. But that last week, I just bought the rights back from my books. Well, because it's been out for 6 years. They didn't really want to reprint anymore. They lost, it happens. They have new books coming out. So I just bought the rights back. I'm going to publish it and put it out under my own publishing company.
So now if you redo it again with your new book, which path you will take if you have a major publisher or self-publishing?
Well, I probably will self-publish only because I've learned so much of the game. And these days, with the internet, ebooks, Kindle, all that stuff, there's the whole industry's changed. I mean, even look at Borders. It's out of business these days, or in Chapter 11. To do it your own, as long as you learn how to do it and you're efficient with it and treat it like a business, I think as a writer, you can get way more profit, but also you can be more in control with what happens with that book.
But don't you think less credibility and exposure if you go self-publishing?
Now you got to remember, Rich Dad Poor Dad was a self-published book. Chicken Soup for the Soul was a self-published book. Celestine Prophecies was a self-published book.
Yeah, but then later on they sticked with the publishing path. Like if you look at Jack Canfield or Robert Kiyosaki, right? They started self-publishing, but now all their books are published.
No,
Why?
But Robert said he's going back to self-publishing because he's doing all the work and the publishers are making all the money, right? So he went back to self-publishing. I think you have to investigate and get educated in both to make your own decision. You got to remember, I've already been a published author. I'm going to try self-published. It may not work for me. I don't know. We'll see. But being a success coach, I'll just figure out the strategy or ask for help, which, by the way, you get it when you ask for it. You figure it out.
Best agent and editor that you ever worked with, book editor?
Well, that's actually my agent. She did one of the first edits on my book herself. Her name's Kathy Hemmings. And Kathy is just an amazing, amazing woman. She's in New York. Became a very dear friend of mine, just awesome. And signed me on the spot when she met me. And got my book deal and everything, but loved my book. Didn't just want to make money with me. She loved my book and loved me, and then we've been dear friends. So she by far has been the best, and any deal I do will always be through Kathy, one way or another. Even if I self-publish, I'm going to still somehow cut her into the deal because having her on my team is very valuable.
Best book marketer that you can just go to when you start a book?
Oh, John Crimer. 1001 Ways to Market Your Book.
He has a book in this title. John, what his
Yes.
name, John?
John Crimer. I can get his book for you. It'll take me a moment. It's in the other room.
No. That's
But
fine.
also here's a for anybody who's writing nonfiction, like a story, The Writer's Journey by Christopher Volger. This is about the structure of writing a story, and it's a must read for any author.
Tell us more about your one-on-one coaching. You charge $27,000 per year, right? And don't you think it's a lot, and how it works?
Well, no, I don't think it's a lot, because my goal is at the end of the year, I ask the clients what did coaching cost you. They tell me nothing because I dwarf that. I did way more than that. You got to remember is if people don't invest, they don't value it, right? But I only take 8 clients a year. Yes, it's $27,000, but you have me for a whole year. We have a session every week. The session lasts as long as it lasts. But, I've taken a guy from never directing before to being A-list in a year. Football player from being a junior player to being one of the mighty All Blacks from New Zealand. So it's unbelievable. It's not a lot of money because, well, first, if you wanted to buy a McDonald's franchise, it's like $3 million. But if you know you're going to make money with that franchise, you pay it. Well, it's the same thing with investing and coaching. If you want to play cheap, you get cheap. Well, you don't go far in life. It's not the expense. It's that, when people invest that much, man, you got to see how much they pay attention, how much action they take, see, because they're serious about it. And that's why it is what it is. Plus, who wants to listen to a success coach who isn't? So, like, if I charge $5,000 for my coaching, people would be like, what are you going to get from this guy? He doesn't even believe in himself. See what I mean? So, no, it's not a lot of money. And, I've had clients that it was a stretch to pay for it. But, one of them, her dream was, she was $250,000 in debt when she was coaching with me. Her dream was to make $100,000 profit. That was after covering the debt. She did $1 million and paid off the debt. I go, how much did coaching cost you? She said, nothing. I dwarf that. And it's not about the money, it's about your whole life.
Tell us more about the projects that you're currently working on for the future.
Oh, well, one of them, my farm. I bought it, was way overgrown, so I've been knocking down that, which is very cleansing, and it's very spiritual. I'm loving it. Especially, it's kind of funny, though, Chicago boy on a farm. It's like the whole other world for me. But Life Success Club is being finished. I'm working on the next book. I'm kind of rediscovering myself on some new workshops I'm creating. And raising my son is the biggest. He's 2.5 years old. I want to make sure I have lots of time with him, so him and his dad have lots of memories. And that's my biggest project. Not like my dad, where he had to go work every morning at 6 o'clock and come home, 7 o'clock and tired. I get those hours with my son, which is awesome.
Share with us some of the tools or softwares that you use that makes you more efficient.
One of them is Infusionsoft, which is really the Cadillac of, for databasing and marketing funnels and shopping carts and all that stuff. But there's Aweber, which is very good. There's a bunch of those. I use Optimized Press to build a lot of websites because it's easy, it's templates, inexpensive. What else do I use? Digital Access Pass. Sometimes you want to do a membership site. Easy Video Suite for creating nice looking videos, but also there's the tracking where I can see how many people watched it, how long they watched it for, when did they drop off. So it's got all the analytics to it. So those are, I use iMovie to edit movies. Simple. It's on Apple for free. It's easy.
What's your daily life and work routine look like?
Oh, well, I get up at 4 a.m. every day before the sun comes up. I meditate, read my goals, read some affirmations, have some identity statements I read. I work on myself, hit the gym. I have a gym here on my property. Then my son wakes up. If he's with me, because his mom and I are not together, so I have him week on, week off. If he's with me, it's a little different. But if he's not, then I have my international clients that I'll probably be on Skype with during the week. And I, do work on a farm. Always read personal development, listen to it in my car. So it's always flowing through my head. Even though I'm on my tractor, I have headphones on.
So you use Audible?
I use both. I love to read, and it's, I think, very good for your mind to read. But I also listen to a lot of audio, because you can be driving and it's seeping in whether you're paying attention or not.
And when do you sleep? What time?
I get to bed about 11 and get up at 4. Sleep is for dreaming, being awake is for living your dreams.
Again?
I said sleep is for dreaming, and being awake is for living your dreams.
But don't you think sleeping helps,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
When you write? What time you write usually?
Oh, early in the morning, the best time to write. Because everybody else is dreaming. So you get all that alpha and beta waves flying around. It's a very creative time. Plus nobody calls you. So you don't get disturbed. Nobody calls you at 4 in the morning.
And still your brain is clear with no emails, no other interactions. What are your other hobbies?
I study Aikido. It's a martial art. AI means to be in harmony with. Ki means energy. Tao means the path. So to be in harmony with energy is a way of life. I think probably the best or most famous Aikido person that you know of would be Steven Seagal.
I hate his movies.
Well, I didn't talk about his movies. I'm talking about he's a 7th Dan Aikido master.
Right.
So, or sensei. But yeah. Yeah, well, his movies are his movies, And they're only getting worse.
That's right. Your top 3 mentors.
My dad. My father taught me integrity. And he drilled it into me, and that was my dad's calling card. He was Mr. Integrity. And my mom taught me manners. She said, you're going to say yes, ma'am, and no, sir, to everybody. Otherwise, you're going to get a, backhand. And she said, you're going to hate me now, but you'll love it when you're older. Because it will stand out. And so I call everybody ma'am and sir and thank you and please and the rest of the stuff. And, it's funny, it still gets noticed. And then, it's like everybody, not anybody, but Buddha and Paulo Coelho and Wayne Dyer and Deepak Chopra and you name it, I've been studying it. Wherever I am around the world. I was just in Kuwait, coaching the top oil executives of Kuwaiti Petroleum, started learning about the Quran and the rest of those things. I'm always open to learn because everything and everybody's got something to teach you. And we're on one ship flying through space called Earth. And, you want to launch a cannonball and blow somebody up on the other side of the ship, well, the whole ship goes down. To me, I like unifying the place and learning from everybody because everybody's got something to teach you. They're all my mentors.
The most important 3 factors of success in 3 words. If you choose 3 words only.
Sure. Live, love, and laugh.
Top 3 apps that you use on your smartphone.
Oh, I found another one, a cool one called plane radar, I think it's called. And you can hold it up and see a plane in the air, and it will tell you exactly what that plane is, what airline is, and where is it going, where it's coming from. It's always an amazing thing. and living here on a farm with these, I probably get international flights going over, and I can hold it up, and sure enough, in the night sky, you get the plane. I just think that one's fantastic. One of them it's kind of stupid, but it's a Pharaoh slot machine. Welcome to Pharaoh's Way. And it's just a slot machine. But when I'm on planes and stuff and I'm bored out of my mind, I use that one quite a bit. But I don't use a lot of apps. I don't. Trying to think what else I have. I probably can't think of a third one.
No worries. What are the habits that you're trying to develop to stay efficient?
One of them is well, I just lost 6 inches on my waist. I've lost 8% body fat. Because having a young son, I want to make sure that I still have a young body to keep up with him as he gets older. Because I am a late bloomer, is I want to make sure I have energy and power, to be there with my son and play football and run and do all that stuff. So, but that is again about life, because people are attracted to my energy when I'm on stage, or it's because I have a lot of energy. People are in awe that I'm in my 50s already, and it's not because some cream that I'm using, to make me look younger. It's just I have energy. So I'm always looking for more ways to keep my energy at high levels. I sleep on the best bed in the world from out of Austria. That when you go to sleep, you're out, and it's and that's why I don't need a lot of sleep, because I get really deep recharging sleep. So all these things, and I've learned a lot about sleep in the last year, how important it is.
What is your routine to sleep?
When you go to bed, don't ask any stupid questions like, how am I going to handle that problem tomorrow? Because that will keep you up. Just, close your eyes, breathe full and deep, which is meditative, and ask yourself, what am I grateful for today? And you just list off your things of gratitude, you'll fall asleep really peaceful, because that's the perfect energy to go to sleep in. It's easy.
It's like how to switch off the brain.
You can't.
So you think about positive things instead of problems. That's the trick.
Well, I don't know if gratitude is positive. I mean, it's positive because it's not negative. But what it is, it's, my belief is that, gratitude is your way to show love for everything you've been given on the planet. If you don't give gratitude, the Creator says, well, why would I give you anything else when you don't appreciate what I've already given you, which is everything? But when you have gratitude, you get more. And it's, and it's just that thing of going, man, I'm grateful, my car got hit. At least I have a car to hit, You know what I mean? Like when you have gratitude, everything's
the positive things of anything happens to you. And the problem is most people at the moment of pain, they think of pain, but later on, maybe after years, they discover that pain have led them to something else.
Why wait? Why wait? Why wait for those couple of years to go by? Ask right now what's great about it, and you'll start getting answers.
Right. Your top 3 favorite books?
Number 1 is Illusions by Richard Bach. He wrote Jonathan Livingston Seagull. And I believe a friend of mine in the States is now turning it into a movie script. He's a writer, and I heard that he was actually writing a script, which I'm in awe of. I have to track him down. One of the other ones is The Pilgrimage by Paulo Coelho, who wrote The Alchemist. It's about his journey through a pilgrimage through Spain that's been going on for like thousands of years, and he did it. And one of my other favorites would be, the whole series of books by Carlos Castaneda about a Yaqui Indian shaman named Don Juan Mateus. And I just love those books because they were life-changing for me.
Top 3 people that you're inspired by?
Well, first is my sensei at Aikido. I mean, this man is as humble as you get. He's very trained in it. He's just a wonderful, loving guy, and he's really the sensei I've been looking for my whole life, actually. So he's very inspirational. My son is probably my number 1 inspiration because he has so much to teach me. And when you're having a rough day, he smiles and says, "I love you, Daddy," and all the tough days go away instantly. It's the most inspirational thing ever. Again, my parents, even though both of them are passed on, as I talk to them every day and I miss them every day. And, they keep me inspired because they gave me the shot at life that I've turned into an amazing journey. And I'm very grateful that they gave me my shot. So I thank them every day.
What are the things that makes you really happy?
I woke up today. A lot of people didn't make it today. So that's the toughest thing any of us have to do is wake up. And so just by waking up, I'm happy because I'm like, hey, I got another shot. I'm going for it. Like I said, though, is I live in this beautiful piece of land with great views. So when I wake up, I have this unbelievable view that it's just God's country. It just makes me smile every time. And then, like, I just have a habit of always looking at the shiny side of the coin. So no matter what happens, I'm trained to ask, what's great about this? What's great about this? Or how can I look at this in an empowering way? And, no matter what situation you get handed, you'll always look at the side that makes you feel better. And then pretty soon that's your habit to feel good.
Last question, how people can contact you?
Oh, easy. Kurek at kurekashley.com. That's really my email address. So I really do answer. Sometimes it takes me a while because I'm on the road quite a bit. It's Kurek at kurekashley.com. You can always go to kurekashley.com and sign up for free training and videos, and there's no spamming, but you will find out about workshops and things we have coming up, things like that. Facebook, LinkedIn, I'm everywhere. And if people write me, I write back.
Thank you, Kurek, for this inspirational journey very much.
Oh, my pleasure. And what a great man you are. And, I'm so inspired by what you're doing and, the different amazing people you've had on your show. So if you ever want me back, I'm honored. And if anything I can do to help you, please let me know. And, if you send me in my email and address, I'd love to post you a copy of my book.
Definitely. Thanks, everyone. Be efficient and stay efficient, and see you soon with another leading expert.